There are many advantages and disadvantages of keeping animals in captivity. One of the disadvantages of keeping animals in captivity is how it affects their behavior. Because the animals are kept in such a small space relative to how much room they'd have in the wild, they tend to get very bored and anxious. Many animals can often be seen pacing back and forth in their exhibits. They do this because they do not know how else to release all the pent-up energy they have due to the fact that they get much more exercise in the wild. In captivity, animals do not reach their full potential. It also affects their social skills. Animals in captivity typically interact with the same few animals of their kind from day to day. In the wild, this would not be the case. They would develop many more relationships with other animals and species of animals. In captivity, the social skills of organisms are also never put to their full potential. However, there are advantages of keeping animals in captivity. It is a way to keep animals safe and ensure that they receive all the care that they need. Keeping animals in captivity is also a way to prevent the extinction of a species. If a species is beginning to go extinct, we can bring animals into captivity, breed them, and hopefully release them into wild to get the population stable again. When the Micronesian kingfisher and the Guam rail started to go extinct, the Philadelphia Zoo partnered up with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to form the Guam Bird Rescue Project in 1984. The last 29 wild kingfishers and 21 wild Guam rails were captured and brought to the Philadelphia Zoo to start a breeding process. The staff of the Philadelphia Zoo has traveled twice to Guam to help with the establishment of the breeding process in captivity. Since 1989, there have been Guam rails that were reintroduced to Guam. There have been no kingfishers that have been released yet, but the breeding process is still ongoing to try and release them into the wild. There are over 1,300 rare or extinct animals that are kept at the Philadelphia Zoo. So what is the cause for all these animals going extinct or becoming rare? The main cause is humans. The main cause of birds starting to go extinct or become endangered is because lack of habitat. Humans are cutting down many forests and tropical rainforests to build things and to use the wood. When this is done, the birds don't have anywhere to live anymore because their habitat has been destroyed. When they don't have a habitat, they don't have a place to lay their young, and they don't have a place to find food. When this happens, they start to go extinct. Humans are the reason there are animals in captivity, whether it is because there are animals in captivity for our enjoyment and for our entertainment, or if it's because we endangered animals and now we have to try and fix it by putting them in captivity. The majority of animals in zoos were born there. The zoo chooses animals to live there that they think would help attract people to the zoo. Their two main goals are to get business and to help conserve wildlife, so it's just as much of a priority to have endangered animals at the zoo as it is to have animals that will bring interest. However, the zoo and the zookeepers would always prefer to have animals live in the wild because they know that it would be the best life for them.
Do animals behave differently in captivity?
The animals behave differently because they have different things to do. Like, for example, they don't have to worry about taking prey, so they don't do that. But one thing we do is we have enrichment for all the animals because they kind of feel babies out of the wild. And that helps them sort of behave normally like they would out in the wild. They don't get bored. But I would guess they do behave differently. Yeah. I know they live a lot longer in captivity.
How does captivity affect future generations? So I'm guessing like mating and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, being in captivity, you can sort of, I mean, you can't force the animals to mate, but you can kind of control how they mate. All the zoos, I don't know if all of them do, but a lot of the zoos, like, in this country, have, like, a system that they go into, so that, like, some people say, okay, I have a female snow leopard, and another zoo will say, I have a male snow leopard. So the zoo with the female snow leopard will send their snow leopard to the zoo with the male snow leopard, and then they'll mate. So we can kind of control that. For the animals that are endangered, we try to see if any other zoos have those animals, and then we bring them together so that we can increase the number of animals there.
Are animals ever set free?
Some of them. I think, what is that endangered one? Not the Guam rail.
The Micronesian kingfisher.
Yeah, they have a project with them, I think, where
They do.
breed them here and then they bring them back to...
There are no Micronesian kingfishers existing in the wild today. They're only in captivity.
Okay.
The Guam rails, however, are the ones that we are reintroducing into the
Guam
wild.
rail.
Not in Guam, but a neighboring island that doesn't have the brown tree snakes.
Well, in general, like the keepers and the trainers that we have here at the zoo don't really treat the animals as pets because of the zoo. So they don't really interact that much with the birds. But they do feed them. They also train them a little bit. For example, there's a cage back there somewhere. The birds are cage trained so that when they do have to put in a cage, so they can go to like the vet or something like that, they'll be willing to do it. So the keeper will put food in the cage, and then the bird will go into the cage and eat food, and that's like classical conditioning. They're associating something good with being in the cage, so that the birds will be more likely to do that.
In today's day and age, zoos work hard in unison with other zoos to maintain genetic diversity. They arrange breeding loans to ensure healthy future generations. Zoos also keep very detailed records of the breeding that takes place and make sure to prevent inbreeding. They also often breed with zoos in other countries and other continents to be sure that the generations they produce are diverse. Overall, zoos do a very good job conserving and contributing to the wild animal kingdom.